Welcome everybody to a very, very special episode of the #InvestIt podcast. You want to know why? This is number 50th episode. And not just that, but we're starting off in 2019. It is January 4th of 2019. So happy to be here. We have Josh Gayman on here. Josh, how are you, man?
Doing awesome, man. Out here in Phoenix. Great weather. It's been a little nippy, but just getting 2019 launched off. Got a big one we're opening the lid on with. It'd be a $30,000-$40,000 assignment fee. So feeling good on a Friday.
Oh, man, I love that. And you're right. It has been nippy. It's been more than nippy. It's been freezing cold. Like, I didn't think it could get this cold in Phoenix, honestly. I moved here from Iowa to get away from that.
Yeah. Well, I was down in Mexico at the beach house for the New Year's with the family. It was just as cold down there, too. It was crazy being on the beach in Mexico, kind of like here in Phoenix. You know, you think about it as hot, desert, lizard, whatever. I was freezing my butt off, man. Like, I didn't want to think about going in that pool. And it's a heated pool, but you still got to get out, you know?
Right. Well, I guess we should start off the episode here with a little bit. I think, Josh, let's see what episode we aired on you first. You were on the Investors podcast before, and actually I think you were the most listened to podcast episode that we had. So congratulations for that. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting. I want to see what episode that was. Josh Gayman. We got so many because he got 50, you know. But anyways, while I find this, how did 2018 treat you? What happened in 2018? Let's kind of recap that a little bit.
Man, 2018 was great. Had our best year in wholesaling. I'm having some issues here on there we go. Whoops. Sorry about that. Just a second. I'm just going to flip it around there. We had our best year in wholesaling. We're growing. We're helping other wholesalers, which is something that prior to 2018, we'd never even done before. I mean, I've been so focused on the last 10 years on how do I get leads? How do I convert deals or convert leads? How do I take those converted leads and get those sold to cash buyers? Do I flip? Do I wholesale? Right? How do I start getting rental properties? How do I increase, like, all that kind of stuff that truthfully, you know, being able to come up with, you know, compile the content of how we do it, how we get properties with low money down as rentals and get phenomenal cash on cash returns, how we get wholesale deals, you know, consistently. They're deals of a lifetime, but we can fabricate them, all that kind of stuff. And to finally be able to share that stuff, was really felt good. I mean, I just, you know, the closings continue to get bigger and more of them, but, you know, hearing from other people and seeing them going through those, you know, their first year in wholesaling, their first deal or their first year or their, you know, quitting their job or, you know, starting to scale and remembering how good that felt when I was there and feeling to be a part of that. That was definitely the most rewarding part of the year, you know, bigger than the biggest deal of the year, bigger than all the new properties that went into the portfolio. So it was an awesome year, man. I'm just really excited for 2019, helping a whole bunch of more wholesalers and having our Phoenix wholesale business do even more deals than last year and add that many more rental properties and that much more cash flow to the rental portfolio.
You know what I hear when you say that, and it's probably one of the biggest things that I try to incorporate in my life as well, is impact, right? So we both know that you can make a ton of money in this business. You really can. Both of us have, but at the same time, money doesn't make any impact. I mean, you can make all the money in the world, but, you know, it doesn't really, you're not seeing the impact as what you're doing now with helping other people to achieve that same thing. Right. So, my hat's off to you for doing that. It is not an easy thing. And I'm sure all of your Flip Hackers people, all of the people that are following us right now on this podcast can appreciate what you've done for them because you've probably changed some lives. Would you agree?
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, it seems like it. You know, feedback seems to be good. You know, I love hearing that, you know, just retired my wife, just popped that first deal. I mean, those, you know, then they never get old.
Yeah, I bet. So what goes, you know, what's going to happen for you in 2019? What are you doing? Exactly. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So if I break it down per piece, you know, the teaching stuff, we are trying to have that be better, directly to the point, so that people want to get started in wholesaling, or they want to start doing cold calling on steroids, or they want to have a better cash buyers list and know how to market those to that. Whatever step it is, that they know right where to go and right what to do. There's so many platforms and you can get lost. I just got off a coaching call this morning with somebody in Florida, and they're like, dude, I'm trying to get my first deal. I've invested all this money on education, and it's mush. There's so much. I have information overload. And so, my approach has been, look, this is simple business. It's not always easy, but it is simple. You got to do three things. You got to get leads, you got to convert leads, and then you got to get those leads that you've converted into a deal sold, right? So that you can get paid.
Right.
Three things, and then getting good at those three things. So, we've come up with a few products. We've got Cold Calling on Steroids, which, a lot of people, it's kind of a household name in the industry. That will produce leads, more leads, quicker leads, instant, cheaper than anything else. And it's a complete game changer. There's nothing else even close to that. Not RVM, not nothing. From there, then it's all conversion. And so, we've developed conversion secrets. Right now, it's just, we did a 2-day live intensive in Dallas. We had 40 business owners from all over the country come in. We taught them exclusively how we convert leads to deals, how we qualify leads, how do we know if we should make an offer or shouldn't, how do we follow up, how do we do all that, how do we train our salespeople, what should their day look like, what order do I work, all the different leads that I have in my pipeline, all those kinds of things. So now you've got Cold Calling on Steroids to know how to bring in the leads, conversion secrets to know how to sort through them and convert them into leads. And then we just recently came out with, right before the holidays, Cash Buyers Secrets, which is everything we've done in the last 10 years for our cash buyers list. So overnight list building secrets is in there, how to use MailChimp, how to blast the property out, how to put that template together to position the property to your buyers, how to take the pictures and present that, how to talk to them, different scripts, as well as, a whole section on who are the cash buyers and what are their different costs. Because a lot of people, they'll write a deal and they're like, well, this would be great for a rental property. And the reason it's great for a rental property is because there's not enough spread for anything else, right? Or they'll buy a property and they'll be like, well, it's already remodeled. I can't do anything with this. And not realizing like, no, there are cash buyers for those. It's just at what numbers. And so, right away, like because they all kind of go together, when I'm going to make an offer and close on a deal, if the seller wants me to come up, I'm looking at what are my different disposition options. And well, because of the condition, because of that, I can sell to this guy. So once those three things are in place in your business and you can just come in, you've got leads there from CCOS, you work your leads through that conversion process, and then you've got your cash buyers list and that process in place, then it's literally how many leads can I pump through the system so that I can qualify them and then sell them to my cash buyers list. And so we're to a place now where all of that information on all three levels is much more organized than it's ever been before. And now we really just want to promote the word, spread the word, and we're getting great feedback from our students. People are actually doing deals. We're getting people that are coming in. They're like, I've spent all this. I've been trying to get my first deal for this long. I'm following this guy, and they're telling me names, and I know who these names are, and I know they're not doing deals. And I'm like, look, that's why we've got info overload. They just keep selling you product after product after product. You don't need any more products. You just need leads. You can't convert without leads, and you can't sell a deal if you don't have anything converted to try to sell the cash buyers. So, it's really so simple. So 2019 is all about streamlining that to be able to have more of an impact, right, on everybody else. Because I just love this business. I mean, it changed my life. It changed. It's given my kids a life that they have it so good they don't even have a clue. I mean, just living the dream. And so to be able to help other people do that same thing, I mean, certainly there's more and more out there, but, it's not like I'm worried about, like, how am I going to get through the month or, pay this car or pay this bill or get a new car or any of that kind of stuff anymore. So now it's like, sure, the goals get bigger, cool, let's get more properties around the country for vacation, or let's do, but ultimately that stuff isn't going to get me to come in the office at 5 a.m. or go home late or anything. And that is all, it's on the impact side. So on the wholesaling side specifically, we'd like to do more than we did last year. If we did the same as we did last year, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But obviously we definitely want growth there. I look at the wholesaling as a short-term game, and then the rental business, my third business, is the long-term. So right now, that portfolio is sitting really well. We've got, I think it's 23 properties as of right now with great cash flow, great returns. They're paying themselves down really fast now. And that money, the cash flow from that comes to Josh Gayman is not a lot, $5,000, $6,000 a month, whatever it is. It's not a lot. And it gets absorbed really quickly. So I don't even really feel it. But if you add in the principal buy down, I'm 10 years from that being 15, and now adding 15,000 a month coming in from just the cash flow, just from those paying them down, creating more rent coming to me instead of to the bank, plus rents will be up. Hopefully there will be more equity, right? So there's all these these advantages. So on the short term, I need a lot of cash to support the lifestyle and the business growth, and wholesaling produces that. But the thing is, if my business, the wholesale business produced 500,000 next month, I'm going to spend that money really quick. You know, I'm a human, just like everybody out there listening is the same way. So what then the long-term rental has allowed us to do is say, okay, we've got excess cash. We're going to spend it anyway. Let's spend it and buy more rental properties, because now that money's put to use where it's going to keep spending us or paying us back. And so maybe I've got 50 grand laying around from a wholesale deal. I put that into 2 or 3 rental properties, right? So I'm out the 50 grand, but now that's going to pay me hundreds of thousands, if not millions, over you know, the course of a lifetime. So, you know, we got the money coming in, hitting the income statement. That's really nice from wholesaling. Growing the balance sheet, which will turn into huge income once we start living off of that. And then guess what? We don't have to wholesale deals, you know, if we don't want to anymore. I don't know that it'll ever stop. You know, we've got a good crew and a good system in place, but, you know, I mean, that to me, that's freedom, you know?
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, exactly what you said is living the dream, right? And you're right. There is no end game in sight. There really isn't. There's a lot of pieces, and I'm glad that you've taken the time now. You've been doing this for a decade, right? Or almost a decade, 2009. Is that right?
It's been a decade now. So I got licensed February of 2019. And the only reason I got licensed back then, 90% of the investment market was short sales or pre-foreclosure, or I'm sorry.
2009.
Yeah, 2009. So you had to be, in order, if you wanted to capitalize on short sales, wholesale them, flip them, whatever, right? The only way to really do that well was to be licensed, because the bank would not negotiate with you if you didn't have your license. So then you could go through an agent, but you had to hope that that agent was good at negotiating with the bank. So that'd be kind of like relying on a realtor to convert your seller leads for you. Like, they're not going to be able to do it. So I got my license so that I could negotiate with the banks, and that's how I got started. But I really started, actually, I don't know if I should say this on camera, in 2008. And my business partner at the time already had his license. He'd been in the business for a number of years. So we just put everything for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 months. I want to say it was like late 2008 when I got started. So it's been officially now over 10 years, almost 10 years of being licensed, but full-time in the business. I went full-time. I'll never forget the day. Literally just didn't go into the car dealership that day and said, all right, Ben, let's start doing this. You know, he knew I knew how I was a sales guy from the car business, all that kind of stuff. I knew he was a phenomenal real estate guy, but, you know, really wasn't a great salesperson. So we joined forces. And that was July 20th of 2008.
Man, so you got a lot of experience. You got a lot of experience. And you now have taken the time to develop a system to show other people the step-by-step process and what you really need. Because, man, you're right. We all get bombarded with content. Constantly with content. You need to buy this, you need to buy that, you need to buy this, buy that. I mean, I get emails almost every single day with different stuff that you can buy. And yeah. I very similar. I was able to not retire my dad, but get him to quit his job out in Iowa and start in this business. And he, you know, he's been doing it for a year and has seen a lot of success, but he's getting bombarded with all this stuff all the time. And he asks me constantly, do I need this? Is this something I need? Do I really need it? You know, because they're great marketers that are selling that stuff and they make you feel like you really need it, right? But you don't. So once again, hats off for you for doing that. I know that you're changing lives. I know that you're helping a lot of people. So that's massive. That's absolutely massive. What was I going through? Where did we meet, Josh? I sold you a property like in 2015, right? Or 16. Is that where we met the first time?
That sounds about right. Yeah. I don't remember the deal. But yeah, I remember, I think it was one we just wholetailed. It was one of your wholesale deals, and I saw it. I was like, screw it, let's just buy this one and wholetail it.
Yep. That sounds about right. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, that was a long time ago.
That was. And we got to know each other really well. I think we might have like kind of, you know, crossed paths a couple more times or looked at deals or talked about leads or whatever. And then through the boardroom mastermind, through Billionaire Boardroom.
Right. Yep. And still part of that. Are you actually going to be going to Dominican Republic here in a couple weeks?
You know, yeah. I just saw the announcements hit the schedule. One of my biggest resolutions for 2019. I know I didn't say this when you asked me what was on the agenda. This would be on one of the things that's not going to be on the agenda. Would be a lot of travel. I traveled so much last year. There was not a month in the year where I didn't get on a plane and go somewhere at least twice, sometimes like 4 times. And you know, with an 8-year-old here come Tuesday and a 6-year-old and a 14-year-old is just way too much time spent away from them. So hard to justify anymore. Anyways, I might be there because that is an awesome trip. But that's one of my high priorities this year is, it's why, like, our next intensive, we've got an intensive coming up in April, April 4th and 5th. We'll have announcements on that here coming up pretty soon, but we're doing it in Scottsdale, and we'll probably do all of our intensives in Scottsdale this year just so I don't have to get on a plane.
Yeah, I mean, that's smart. And I did the exact same thing. That was one of my resolutions for this year as well. I was joking with Courtney about this because I was like, I'm not traveling this year, but already here in January and February, I'm gone both months. So like after that, I'm done. Not done, but I'm going to really, really limit the travel because it's, I mean, it's good on one hand. It's not on the other. You miss out on things. You need to be here. We're always trying to grow and get better as well. And so I need to be here in order to do that. It's
and
kind of
it's like we're talking about information paralysis, but same thing. I was just looking at going to a marketing seminar. It's 4 days in Tennessee coming up next month. And I went to it last year. It was in Orlando in like March, and I learned it was great. I learned a lot of good takeaways, but I'm looking at it and going, this is going to be like 4 days outside of business. So I was like, me and my COO were talking earlier this morning, and we're like, he left the decision up to me, but I was like, screw it. I already said I didn't want to travel. 4 days out of the business. I mean, it's anxious coming back from the holiday break, just, everything kind of slowed down for a few, and that's when the whole world slowed down, let alone stepping away when everything's going. So same type of thing, if you're just getting going and you think you need to go to every seminar, every course, every whatever, well, what time do you have to actually then produce leads? Which, going back to what makes you money, is getting leads and converting those leads. So unless it's something that's going to get you leads and help you convert them, it really doesn't matter. The cash buyer side of things, there's tools out there. Obviously, we have cash buyer hacks like I was talking about, but realistically, you go get a home run deal, tomorrow in this world on Facebook, somebody's going to pick it up for you. Pick it up. So it's really all about how do I get leads and how do I convert leads. And unless anything you're spending time out or money on is doing one of those two things, my recommendation for most people is just not, even if they have the money set aside, coming back to what we were talking about, it's the time, if it's 4 days to a real estate thing, there's so many examples, right? People like, how do I set up my LLC? How do I do this? I'm trying to set up my cash buyers, and they haven't even talked to a seller yet. It's just like, all those things, I'm not saying they're not important or they don't need to be done, but you can figure all that shit out, and a lot easier with some money in the bank. Without any leads or deals, you've got no money in the bank, and then figuring it all out, whether you figure it out or not, it really doesn't matter.
Right. I mean, money is, it's one of those necessary evils, and you have to have it. Yeah, I mean, it drives everything. So if you're not working on revenue generating activities and really trying to build your business that way, especially if you're just getting started, right? You have to only do that. Going to seminars all the time doesn't do you anything. No. You have to go to one seminar and then go implement. Go to, maybe go to another one, join a mastermind. That I would say is one of the most important things that you could do, because that's puts you in a room of people that are going to hold you accountable, right?
Yeah, makes your whole reality bigger, for sure.
And to look and see what other people are doing, makes a big difference. Now, I think there's a shelf life for that, and I want to talk about that for just a brief minute. There's a shelf life for coaching and for masterminds. You go to one for so long, and then all of a sudden it's like you don't need it anymore. You already know all the information, you know all the people, you know what's going on. You've moved up. Right. That's exactly right. You're climbing the ladder, and you don't necessarily need to climb in that space anymore, but it is time to maybe join another one. So anyways,
yeah, that's just it. I mean, there's times that you're out there somewhere like, holy cow, they know everything I'm trying to learn. You learn it, you pick it up quick, unless they know the next thing, burn your idols, like they say, because at some point you will be disappointed if you truly keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing everything that they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, in certain circles, once you get to that point, you're probably in a pretty good spot, right? I mean, it's, that's what it is. Another thing that I'm focused on for this year is really trying to enjoy time a little bit more. Not trying to do everything. Saying no more often is something I'm focused on. I'm definitely a yes man. I like to say yes and do everything all the time, but you got to say no. So anyways.
Well, you're an opportunist. I know I'm the same way. It's really hard so this is my guess. It's really hard for me to say no, because within everything I see an opportunity or possible opportunity. I don't want to leave any stone unturned, but like you said, man, it's so important. One of the biggest things, I didn't really mention this, but that happened to me in 2018 was bringing on a real COO into my business, or for lack of a better term, I'm an integrator, right? Because I say yes to everything. So now to have somebody to filter through all the ideas and all the stuff, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's come back to that and keep everything boom, boom, boom. Because I'm no different. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Let's have 100 different things. And employees, it's really hard for them. They're getting whiplash from the office. Like, well, yesterday we're doing this. Today we're like, what the heck are we doing? You know, and as business owners and entrepreneurs out there, a lot of stuff in our mind, you know, we know what's going on, but we're not necessarily always communicating everything we think we're communicating. And that's where, you know, coming and saying, being able to say no, whether you have somebody else helping you say no, or you just get better at saying no, or both. Yeah, man, that's something I struggle with still. It probably always will. It's just part of what comes with the truth with being a visionary. But yeah, it's something. It's like I feel like for myself as I mature and just kind of gain experience and stuff. It's one thing where I just more and more keep turning the lever up on how much I say no. I mean, I get DMs, emails, messages, and a lot of times they're like friends, you know, or acquaintances that actually came from my life before, you know, being known for real estate and stuff like that. And I don't really do lunch anymore. I don't really meet for coffee or like any of that kind of stuff. And it's just not coming from a place of, you know, I'm too good for anything like that. It's just, there's just not enough time into it. At the end of the day, that's time I could be bettering my business, working on the next deal, or spending that time with my kids. And so just getting really critical on exactly what you do want, getting that in place, I think makes it easier to realize what you have time left for. And then sometimes you might want to say yes, but you're like, where is that going to fit? And maybe the answer, at least for now, just needs to be no.
Right, man. Spot on. So, you know, we're coming up on time. We've talked about a lot of stuff. I really appreciate you sharing kind of what your vision is with helping people, the impact that you're having on people, breaking down the systems, simplifying them for people to start their business and not get distracted by all the other stuff and all the minutia that comes in from everything all the time. I appreciate you sharing that. And I appreciate what you're doing that way. I think a lot of the listeners do as well. And I'm sure you, like you said, have seen a lot of success. But with that being said, I have a new lightning round. Are you ready for another lightning round?
Boom, let's do it.
All right. So number one, what is one of the things that you would put on your bucket list at this point?
On my bucket list.
On your bucket list.
Man.
Throwing you for a ringer. Yep.
World traveling, I guess, maybe like a tour. I've seen a bunch of great stuff. That'd probably be pretty cool.
Okay.
You know, a lot of the real estate related ones have been done. You know, buy a rental property, you do $100,000 flip, you know, do $1 million a year, like whatever. And all those things are fun, and you can just pick another big number for any of those types of things. But maybe I need to think about that some more. That's some good stuff. Those experiences, man.
Yep. Good deal. Who do you admire the most and why? I know, and I'm throwing you some hard questions. I didn't give you any, no.
Any scale?
Yeah, any scale. Who, and you got to say why.
You know, it might be like kind of cliche or kind of like whatever, but I'd probably say MJ, you know, Michael Jordan. And because not that I necessarily have all the same values as him or that I'm a basketball fiend or anything like that, but that dude is a classic example of someone who is the best at what they do because of what they do every day when nobody's watching, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think there's probably there's so much talent out there, so many people that are phenomenal. There's so many things in the world that will never tap into their God-given abilities and talents. They don't have the vision, they don't have the faith, which is where it starts. And then that prohibits, because they don't have the vision and faith, they don't take the action, and that won't get them to where they want to be. I talked about this yesterday on my Instagram story, was like, so much of it's just showing up, you know? You're not feeling like going to the office. You don't feel like making the calls today. You don't feel like whatever, but you just do it anyways, and you get the lay down $20,000 assignment, you know, that changes the whole month, changes your mood, changes everything. You know, it spurs momentum and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's one of the biggest things. And I think MJ does that, you know, regardless of his success. That's somebody, and he's done the same thing in other things outside of basketball, right? But someone who's just going to put in the work. So I guess that would be the why, you know?
Okay. Hey, that's a solid answer, man. Thanks for sharing that. What challenges you? So at this point in your life, your career, what is it that challenges Josh Gayman?
In life? Always just doing bigger, and there's always a place for improvement. And I think that's why business is fun. You're never just done. You think you are. Once I get my first closing and I don't have to work my day job, I'll have made it. Once I get my first rental property, I'll have made it. Once I make $1 million a year, I'll have made it. Newsflash, none of those things you're going to feel like you've made it. And going back to what you said, like, I don't ever want to stop. I hope that I'm 100, still coming to the office, working deals and running things, because it's fun and it's not breaking my back and it's not putting me at risk and it's not taking me away from other things I want to be doing. At least at that point, it won't be. Sometimes now it's like, I'd love to get home and spend an extra hour watching TV or doing whatever. It's like, no, my time needs to be here, whatever. I kind of lost sight of the original question right there.
Just what challenges you? What exactly challenges you, if there is anything that you can say?
So it's just growth. I mean, I would say with wholesaling, it's always how do I make more money with less, right? Or same thing with with the rental properties, the same thing. How do I acquire more rental properties for more cash flow with less money out of pocket? So it's always, I think the name of the game as an entrepreneur is how do I do more with less? Right? And if you can figure out how to do more with less, then you can also you can help so many other people. Like Cold Calling on Steroids evolved from, oh my God, there was a time where, I shit you not, I was spending over $50,000 a month every single month on marketing. So we had to clear, 50, 60K before we broke even. That wasn't counting overhead. That was just counting direct mail, Google pay-per-click, and a little bit of calling. And we started having mass success and why don't we just scale the calling thing? We make as much or more off of that, and we spend a tenth as anything else, right? And that allowed me to do so much more business and scale everything with less, right? With less marketing spend, less minutia. And that opened the whole gate for, oh my God, this is so amazing. Who in the wholesale doesn't want more leads for cheaper and faster? So it's not like direct mail. You got to you finally okay, I'm going to spend the money, pray, send the campaign out. 2-3 weeks later, finally, hopefully the phone rings. It's like boom, boom, phone's ringing. So, and obviously that, that's been huge. Cold calling's become a big known thing over the last year. Obviously sharing secrets with Sean came out with RVM, all that kind of stuff. So, that has had an impact for everybody, which is incredible. And it's not like cold calling wouldn't exist without it or anything like that, but definitely turning that automated factor and bringing it into the wholesale niche, has been powerful. But it really all just came from doing less with more. So at this point, it's not how do I do more with less to get to the, like an exact benchmark or whatever. I mean, I would love to have enough passive income to not have to do any wholesale deals, and the wholesale deals are just fun. There's all these, all these things, but ultimately it's just getting better in all of the areas, which now at this point, 10 years into my career, I've already committed to doing, so buying rental properties, wholesaling deals. I've been committed to both. I've been committed to flipping and investing. So like I said, since late 2008, I'm never going to stop. I bought my first rental property in 2012. I've got 25 now roughly, never going to stop. And, here in this last year, made the commitment to start sharing real estate stuff. And early on, made that same decision. This is something I'm going to be committed to. And it's not going to be about the money. And it's not going to be about is this going to work or not? It's going to be about the reason for why I'm doing it. So the goal will still be to do more wholesale deals with less marketing spend and wholesaling, buy more rentals with less money out of pocket and expand more, leverage more of what we have in the rental pool. And then on the coaching side of things, help more students with putting less energy out to help more people and be able to help them ideally quicker and with them being able to spend less money to get what they need.
Right on, man. That was definitely an extended answer, and I appreciate you sharing that.
You ever get anything else from me, bro? That's like these stellar leads, man. Once in a while, the guys will, Josh, can you talk to this guy? I feel like there's something here. Can you just get on the phone with him and talk him in circles for 15 minutes until he forgets, what his objection was and signs the damn contract?
Yep, that's you, man. I love it. All right, we got one left, and it's kind of a dual one. So your greatest achievement and greatest failure.
Well, greatest achievement has been all three of my kids, for sure, without a doubt. Greatest failure, man. I love the question, what's your greatest failure? Because I feel like every failure really is just something that's pushing you faster and faster towards that vision. So if you know what your vision is, and you've got faith that you're getting there and gratitude that you're on your way there, then it's a little easier to take on those problems because you have an understanding of why they're there. But in the moment, sometimes it's still tricky. Man, my first, my biggest failure was, I don't know, maybe early on when I couldn't save somebody's house from foreclosure and I had to deal with them, and I had to deal with having an uncomfortable, hard situation with something that was out of my control, even though it wasn't the outcome I had hoped for. Maybe it was the deal that I didn't get that I lost to the competitor because it chapped my ass and made me learn what to do differently, so that now the next 10 leads where I'm in the same situation, I can convert 3, 4, 5 of those. And there's been a lot of good failures that have taught me a lot. I don't know if I can think of any one right now. You know, it's stuff as simple of like in 2018, if you want to call it a failure, of like, there's so much going on and it's all successful, but it almost seems like I've created my own world of chaos. And that taught me that I needed to go hire a COO. And that was kind of scary because they're not cheap for somebody with a good MBA and there's, all that kind of stuff. But that's changed my life, rather quickly. I think we're like 4 or 5 months in now. So a lot of good failures. I give you a long answer again. I wish I could think of one that I just said changed everything. But I don't know, maybe it was the first failure. And I don't remember what failure it was, but that I really learned that, this is a lesson. And it's not just here for my life to suck today.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a tough question. It's not made to be like, answer very, very quickly with a simple answer, right? Because every single failure that you have is a step moving forward. I mean, in this business, everybody that starts is going to fail and fail often. That's the best thing you can do, is to fail often and fail forward, because once you fail, you know not to do that again. So if you're able to do that often and in large amounts, then you're going to fail to the top very, very quickly, right? So
yeah.
Anyways, Josh, man, I appreciate you being here today, man. It has been, another great episode. You talked a lot. You said a lot. I'm excited to watch this year, 2019, explode for you. I know it's going to explode for me, my company, and our team as well. And, hopefully we can get back on again, maybe in another year, and say, come back up to speed again.
Let's do it, man. That sounds awesome. Episode 100.
That's it, man. Sounds great. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a good day. Great 2019, and go kill it out there. Talk soon.
You too, my man. Appreciate you.
See ya.
Peace.